Good morning, my name is Emily Mason, 4th grade teacher at Snipes Academy, and I am a mentor here to Miss Nancy Taverna, and she's going to introduce herself.
Good morning, my name is Nancy Taverna. I am a Beginner 1 teacher in the ISCS program at Snipes Academy.
And today we're going to be talking about the PDP process. Specifically, we're going to model a conversation that we had back in January when we were going over Nancy's mid-year PDP. So Nancy, now that it's January, we've completed half a year. Congrats to you.
Thank you.
It's the middle of the year, and we're going to be going through and working on your PDP and I'm going to help you with that. And back in the beginning of the year, you set some goals,
Yes.
and we're going to go over those and kind of see where you are now. So the first goal that you set was a school-wide goal, and you took that goal from our executive summary for our school improvement plan. And there's 4 quadrants, and you focused on an IndiSTAR indicator that had to do with employing effective classroom management. And some of your activities and actions were using research-based strategies for organization and classroom behavior
Yes.
with your students to ensure that their abilities achieve success to the highest level in the ISCS program. You also we're going to use the PBIS matrix of our school to encourage your students throughout the school year. So right now, in the middle of the year, for this goal, how do you think you're doing with your classroom management?
Well, using the strategies that I selected, the first strategy obviously was keeping an organized, very calm classroom. And
Right.
you've been in my classroom
Yep.
before. Materials have to be marked very clearly, areas have to be marked very clearly. Students on the autism spectrum need to know where to go when the task has ended. So having an effective classroom management, also you have to put into place that your areas are marked and the students will, when they finish a task, will
Right.
need to go to the next area. So having put that in place since day one, my routines and procedures
Right.
are really going well.
Yeah, and I can agree with you because I've been in your classroom several times, and we've had several conversations as we meet on a weekly basis for you as a BT1 teacher. I'm not necessarily going to mark this as like evidence of completion. This is going to be an ongoing task. So in the next box where we talk about expected outcomes and evidence of completion, you'll still be doing this throughout the rest of the year, and I know you're still doing a great job, and will continue.
Thank you.
And I'll still be coming in, to give you advice or strategies, but we'll still mark that down in here, that you do review your STAR expectations daily, and that the students, they do know their routines and procedures. It is evident. Your lessons are taught using direct and explicit instruction. Then any resources that you need, we're going to also put that down in here. And the timeline obviously is through the end of the year. And we'll meet again at the end of the year to finish up your end of the year PDP. Now your second goal was more of a personal goal that you set, which is also very important as a beginning teacher to reflect upon you as an educator yourself. You were talking about that you want to use your data to reflect upon your teaching practices, and if you're teaching a lesson and you've taught it for a week or two and you assess that child, talk about maybe how you're using that data and how you know that maybe you, how is everything going since the beginning of the year? Have you seen any growth, changes? Can you reflect on any of your teaching practices that you may have, you did something and then you saw your assessment and you used your data to reflect back?
Yes, we use research-based curriculum
Right.
with this program, and I have seen growth. What my best practice that I use is I will introduce the lesson on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. With the autism population, a lot of it is repeat, repeat, repeat. On Thursday, I tend to pull back, and on Friday, I will assess. I have had to look at the data, and depending on the outcome as far as what they can do independently. We teach to mastery. That's part of their goals and objectives. So if I see they can't do it at least 80%, I sit down and I have to relook at that and find another way to introduce the goal that I'm trying to master.
Has that happened recently? Can you think of an instance where
Well,
that happened and you had to go back and reevaluate yourself and reflect on yourself and the
Yes.
lesson that you did?
One of my students, one of his goals is to be able to add and subtract within 20. And he is below grade level. And I was trying to do what works for my two other friends in the classroom was a lot of just rote and memorization. This particular student just wasn't being able to grasp it. So I found that after looking at the data, I had to sit down and use more technology with him.
Oh, okay, great.
So I found some.
And that would go with another standard in your teacher evaluation for using technology.
Exactly. So I'm
great.
actually able to, when my two other friends come in, they're able to get up with a warm-up, and I'm able to pull him first and use more technology, hands-on.
That's great.
And he definitely was more engaged. After assessing him using that for 1 week, he was able to, his fluency with his math facts improved by 15%.
That's awesome. So I really like how you're doing that self-reflection and using that goal that you've made for yourself to reflect back on your teaching practices, and then just to make sure that we're also, as a school and personally, you're using a personal data notebook on your students, which I know that you are, and that the students all have one. You have data notebooks, data charts, and Google Docs, and we'll continue to work on this goal for the rest of the year. We'll meet again to do your end of the year PDP, but I think that you're doing a great job.
Thanks, Emily.